Magical Mystery School, and thank you so much for coming back. I'm so thrilled. So today we're going to do astrology lesson number 19. Woo! All right, aspects. We're really getting up there. We've gone through all the glyphs, the ABCs of the signs and the planets. We've talked about the elements and the qualities, which are going to come in really handy when we start talking about aspects. You wait and see. All your studying is paying off. We talked about rising signs and the hemispheres above and below the horizon, east and west. We talked about polarities. That's another one. Boy, that's going to really help us out too with the opposition, polarity, aspects. And then we spent several lessons just going through starting to learn the whole art of interpretation. And that's what we're continuing with here. We talked about, the house, which is the area of life, what sign is on that house, and how that colors that area of your life. Does it make you talkative, quiet, whatever? And then if there's a planet in there, I got a hair, sorry. If there's a planet in there, that gives it a little extra zippity-doo-dah. So, oh, and I forgot to say, I always forget to say, please like and subscribe. And you should see down in this bottom right-hand corner, I guess that's your right hand, a little subscribe button. I learned how to do that all by myself. I'm so proud of myself when I do these things. Anyway, so we are going to head into aspects. And I hope you got your free chart. Just remember, you can Google free astrology chart. You'll have several choices. I went through Cafe Astrology and it worked like a charm. So there's a bunch of aspects. There's a ton, but there's 5 big ones. Conjunction, planets right together. Oppositions, 180 degrees apart. Square, we're going to chop that opposition in half, 90 degrees apart. Trine, which is 3 angles in the wheel, so 3 into 360 is 120. Then we're going to cut that one in half and make sextiles, 60 degrees apart. And it's sextiles for 6. Don't get your minds out of the gutter. Okay. Now, what someone or people have asked me about several times is when you have those planets that are conjunct, but what if they're, how far away can they be to be called conjunct or square or whatever? Well, you're always pretty safe if they're within 5 degrees of each other. For conjunctions, you can go all the way out to 10 degrees. And you'll see if you read books or listen to other astrologers, for some aspects, they'll say 3 degrees, some 6, some 8. Just remember, for our purposes, that definitely 5 and under is great. That's an aspect, no worries there. And then the further out you go, the further apart the planets are, then just the weaker that aspect is. And after 10 degrees, it's too loosey-goosey for me anyway. Another thing to think about when we're talking about these aspects in general is what 2 planets are coming together. Now this one, just use your good common sense, okay? Just think about it. If you've got Venus in relationship to any other planet, that's usually going to be kind of okay. Venus is a very nice planet, right? Very good-natured in general. So, but if you have like Saturn's kind of our big meanie out there, our authoritarian. That one, watch out for that. That might be just a little bit, you want to see, that can be kind of heavy. Let's just put it that way. And also what planets are coming together. So like Saturn and Venus, not, it kind of dampens Venus. Let's just put it that way. But if you've got Saturn and Mars, then you've got a real conflict because Saturn's trying to restrict you, kind of, do your boundaries. Remember, it's our last planet we can see, so it's sort of our boundary planet. And then Mars is always like, go, go, go. Let's not even worry or think about it. Where Saturn wants to think it out and all that good stuff. So start to use, this is the art part of astrology. So start using your common sense and how you're going to put those things together. Okay, so what I want to do for this class is I'm going to bring the camera down. And I'm going to quit saying bringing you down because I don't want to bring anybody down. We'll bring the camera down and we'll just go over the glyphs for the aspects, for the 5 main ones. And then I'm going to mention some lesser ones just so you know about them, that they're out there. And if someone says to you something about it, you can go, oh, I've heard that's not a very important aspect. You know, you can be kind of cool about that. So anyway, so let's go ahead. I'll put you on pause. Alrighty, so here's our aspects that I was talking about, and here's our top 5 and then just some secondary ones. So if you want to take a screenshot of that, 1, 2, 3, there you go. Okay, so the conjunction is a circle with a line, kind of looks like Mars without the arrow on top, and it's 0 degrees. And just remember that the conjunction is kind of like Mars. I'll make that a little heavier because it's really a very powerful aspect where you're blending 2 energies together. So it's really going to be the ones you look for first. And I think I may have mentioned this, but I'll just say it again. If you've got 2 of these together, it's a conjunction. If you've got 3 planets together, that's called a stellium, 3 or more. And remember with our orbs, so if you've got a planet that's, say, 2 planets and they're like 5 degrees apart, and then there's a 3rd planet that's 6 degrees from that middle planet, so it's 11 degrees between those 2. You still count that even though these 2 are 11 degrees apart because it's got that bridge planet in there. Okay, the opposition is our conjunction with another circle on top, and it's 180 degrees. Whoops. Whoops. Yeah, we'll have to bear with that one. So the opposition, this is where we have to kind of seesaw back and forth between those 2. People will find that they jump onto one side and then the other. Remember that our polarity lectures. So go back and look at that and you'll get a good, it's the same concepts. You're always going to have, you know, air and fire opposite one another, earth and water opposite one another. So again, and this can be, if you do kind of get onto one side of the seesaw, you'll tend to attract in people from the other side and kind of work on that other side of the opposition. So, or you'll project that energy onto someone else. So watch out for that. Okay, square, well, that's pretty obvious. It's a square, and that's 90 degrees. All right. And that, I think, is actually more difficult energy than the opposition. Now, these first 2, or even the conjunction, it kind of depends on what planet is conjuncting it. But these are considered hard aspects, whereas the trine and sextile are soft or easy aspects. So the square, I think, is even more difficult than the opposition because you're kind of teetering between 2 energies there. All right, let's see. And it can be, so it can create quite a bit of struggle because you've got conflicting urges going back and forth. But the square must be dealt with in your life. People come in, you know, about astrology a lot of times in their 20s and 30s, and as soon as they see those squares in their chart and start to learn about them and investigating, they'll go, I have been dealing with this my whole life. And now they can kind of see some ways to make it better. Okay, a trine is depicted with our equilateral triangle, and that's 120 degrees. So trines are, an easy blending of energies, can be peaceful, very peaceful in someone's energy, and actually can be kind of boring. People who have like a lot of trines in their charts, or what we call grand trines, that sort of thing, which I think if I show you that, that'll be more understandable on the wheel. That can actually be kind of like someone who's just kind of used to getting everything in their, kind of easy schmeezy, so that when rough things do come up, sometimes they have a little bit harder times with that. Sextile is our 6-pointed star. All right, and that's 60 degrees. Now this one, I actually like this aspect quite a bit, because it's really provides a lot of opportunity. When you see it in your chart, you get a lot of sparkle. It shows where it's easy for you to be sociable and things like that. So just really, don't, just because this is seems like a little bit lesser aspect than a trine, don't let it fool you. Those sextiles are pretty fun. Lots of opportunity in these. Okay, now the quincunx is 150 degrees. So it's just shy of being an opposition. It's kind of like the opposition that it takes a little, left turn or right turn, just sort of veers off a little bit. And the semi-square is just shown by, this is like the bottom half of a sextile, and this is just the angle sign, and it's 45 degrees. So I'm sure that makes sense. 45 is half of a square, so it's a semi-square. And the sesqui-square is 90 degrees plus 45 degrees. So its glyph is a square with an L in it. Okay, so that's 135. Okay, so both of these show some struggle, some difficulty, not as much as the square, but some difficulties in there. Now, one of the main reasons I leave this one in is that, well, until we had computers, I think it was pretty hard to find, because you'll notice all of these are on 30-degree increments, and this one is on 15. So it's, it's the 30 plus 15. So, but now that we have computers, we can see them a lot better. And one of my favorite astrologers, Rick Levine, and watch him on YouTube. He does these monthly updates. Rick Levine, Levine. He's fabulous. He uses these a lot. Now the quintile, I have fun with this one. This is dividing the wheel up into 7. And the reason I add this one, 72 degrees, is because this shows you where you're a genius. So if this ever pops up in your chart or someone else's chart, it's kind of fun to know where you got a little edge on things in life. And then the semi-sextile is just the top half of the sextile symbol, and it's 30 degrees. And this one, it's, to be quite honest, it's just 30 degrees away from whatever. Not that potent, not that powerful, but if you're looking for something, if you need a sign, go for it. Okay, so I think that pretty much does it for going over the glyphs and giving you just a quick rundown. So I'm going to stop here, and next class we'll look at these on the wheel and talk to that right side of your brain. So thank you again very much. And just remember, from there to here, from here to there, funny things are everywhere. All right. Thank you guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.